Please note that not every prophetic message that I share on this channel is meant for everybody, so it's important that you have a relationship with the Holy Spirit and take it back to Him and ask Him to give you the confirmation that you need before you run with the message. For some of you, I know that this is going to be a confirming message because the Lord has already been speaking to you about this. And if that's the case and you have any questions, please make sure to take all those questions back to Him because He will have the answers for you. Hi friends, it is Queen Alita. Welcome back to Directional Dreaming. So, I actually had a dream that I was going to share with you guys along with a prophetic message, but I felt like the Lord was asking me to put a pause on that and to actually come on here and be vulnerable with you guys. So, well, first of all, I just want to say I'm not on camera because I've just been going through it. It's just been rough, and that's part of what I want to share with you guys. I'm just going to jump straight into it. This is really to encourage whoever needs to hear this because, I'm definitely super encouraged by the Lord right now. So this is a prophetic message for somebody, and it's coming in the form of a testimony, right? So in the past few weeks, my husband and I have just been through like a whirlwind of, I guess you can say, loss. Our finances have been impacted so intensely. So to be more specific, the first thing that happened was the car that he drives packed up. It just gave in. The transmission broke or whatever. I don't know how to put it. The transmission is gone. Okay. And this car has been around since 2010. So it started giving us problems last year towards the just the second half of the year. These things kept coming up and quite a bit of money has been going into it. And then to find out that a gently used transmission would cost $5,000 along with labor, it was like, okay, we cannot do that. This car is way too old. It's going to continue giving us problems. It just has to go. And this breakdown of the transmission happened while he was working, right? And this is his second job. So the income from that second job has been at a halt for 2.5 weeks now. This is income we relied on a weekly basis because he would get paid on a weekly basis. You know, he has his main job where he gets his monthly salary, but this one was the one that just really allowed us to get through the month, allowed us to manage, the two households. Unfortunately, we live in different countries at the moment because of immigration. So that's a whole process on its own. If we had our way, we wouldn't be living like this. But, it's just the way it is right now. And so that was the first thing. So the car obviously breaking down meant no second income, right, on his side. And so that's the second thing. And then he has to get to his job every day, his main job. We were able to find a bus system that will actually get him to work every day. But because he does the late shift, the after hours shift from 3 to 11, there's no bus at 11 at night. So he has to Uber home every day. And we all know Uber is not cheap. So that's the third thing. The little that we had from that main salary has just been completely obliterated, and there are still bills to be paid this month. It's only May 7th and we're like, okay, what are we going to do, right? But we've really seen the hand of the Lord, right, in this time. Like when that car gave in, when that transmission went out, there was like this peace and relief in making the decision to let the car go. There was just peace, it was like, yep, this is definitely the Lord. And at the same time, on my side, I'm in the process of a move. I can't live where I've been living, so I'm in the process of moving to a new place, which is a property that I've always had, but other people have been living there over the years. It's a long story, but the Lord gave it back to me. It's back. And that comes with the mortgage payment, right? And so it's like, okay, I have to get out of where I'm living at the moment. But like without that second income, you can imagine it's like it's not looking good. Yet there's a peace. Yet at the moment that I needed that place to open up, it opened up. And I'll just briefly share. I'll just share with you briefly how I know it was the Lord. Things got to a boiling point where I'm living right now. Like, it's just not a conducive environment for me and the children. It's actually quite toxic and just mentally not a good place for us to be, mentally and emotionally. And so it reached a boiling point. And prior to it reaching a boiling point, I felt the Lord saying to me, find out about the property that you own. Contact so-and-so and find out what's going on with the property. And I just ignored that. I thought, oh, it must be me because, I really want to get out of this environment. And, Lord, maybe you have me here to refine me and I don't want to, abort anything that you're trying to do. I will endure. If you want me to endure, I will do it. So I was ignoring the sense that I was getting to find out about the property. And so when this situation reached a boiling point, one of the things that was said in anger was, you should probably move out. And I was like, okay, you're right. I probably should. And then I got the sense again, the property you own, go and find out about it. And I did. I sent the email and got an immediate response. Well, the response was within the hour. And it was like, yep, the place is actually about to be available because of whatever reasons. I'm not going to get into the details of that. But it was like this person was going to move out in 2 weeks. And I was like, what? So beginning of May, it's been available. I've been, working on moving and getting the place move-in ready because there's quite a bit of stuff that needs to be done as well. That's also another thing. Like, there's mold that I'm treating and well, I don't know if treating is the right word because I'm not trying to keep it alive. I'm working on the mold and also working on one of the bedroom walls has got water damage to it, and it's just not moving ready. I don't want to expose the children to the mold situation. So just being able to get like essentials like that done, it's been a miracle that I've even been able to do some of it. Like, it's still in the process, which is why we have not moved yet, because it's okay, what little bit of money do I have that can go into that? And of course the mortgage payment, what little bit of money can I have to just kind of like, put in some kind of payment? It wasn't even the full payment, but this whole time there's been a lot of anxiety on my side, on my husband's side, trying to make plans. After the transmission went out, we tried every plan that we could think of to get him a car, to get him some kind of way to be able to do the second job, because so much has changed now. On my side, it's this big move, it's all these expenses and these costs, and it's not like before the move where it was like, okay, we can still manage. Now there's more, right? So the whole time we did everything that we could, every plan, listen, we tried it all, and each door just kept being closed. It just was not working. It was not happening. God was shutting it down. And I could not fathom. I was like such a ball of anxiety. And I'm like thinking, okay, the word of God says, be anxious for nothing. We just have to trust God. We kept saying these things, but I could feel it in my body, how anxious I was. And I was obviously trying very hard to speak the word and believe the word of God. But my nervous system was not having any of it. And that's when I sat down and I was like, Lord, what what's going on. And what I kept getting from God was, I need you to rely on me completely. Everything you've tried has been blocked because you are relying on yourself. You are making plans because it makes you feel safe and secure, and you're not finding that safety and security in me. So no matter what you try, I'm going to block it until you rely on me. And he was like, I actually got this picture of him kind of like waiting around for me to stop trying all these plans, because a lot of the plans that I tried, that me and my husband tried, was my suggestion. I kept saying, okay, let's try this, let's try the next thing. And he just was more chilled than me. I was in a panic, right? But still trying very hard to believe the word of the Lord. And I could just picture God just kind of like, okay, as soon as she gets it, then I can do some things. I can move on on their behalf. And after the last thing we tried just didn't work out, I was like, okay, I think I need to just believe God now. Like, that was really him telling me that we need to rely on him, because we've tried everything. Not a single thing has worked. So with regards to my husband's car that he's been using, it needed to be towed to a scrapyard, and the scrapyard owner was going to give us something like, he had initially said $150 to $200, and I was just like, what? I don't know how much cars go for when they have to be taken to scrap yards. I was just shocked, but apparently that's kind of reasonable. So I was like, man, can't we rather, this is one of the plans I made, can't we rather like sell the car for parts? And we started to look at what other cars were going for, and it was like, $1,000, over $1,000. And I was like, yeah, we should do that. We should put it on Facebook Marketplace. We should put it on Craigslist, and we're going to get more. Well, we did. And we did not get more. And that culminated today, actually, because y'all, God is amazing. Today, we finally decided, okay, we need to take the car to the scrapyard because we don't have money. Like, what are we going to do? And the guy came, got the car, actually gave us $250. And now my husband's like, okay, now I got to walk to the bank to deposit this check and get this money in the bank account. And this was like a 3-mile walk. And I'm like, wow, Lord, okay. He's like, no, it's fine. It's going to be a great workout. And I said, okay, I love it. I'm loving the attitude. And as he's walking to the bank to deposit this $250, which we both were like, okay, so this is what we're going to do with it. He gets a call. I'm not going to go into the details of the call. It's a very personal matter, but there is an outstanding bill. Okay. It's a medical bill. And then like he hears the whole story from this person that's calling. And then he eventually says, so how much is this bill? And the person is like, it's $249.99. And he was like, oh my goodness, what? That is 1 cent shy of the money God just gave us from this car. And when he told me this, I had a moment of panic. But by this point, guys, I want to backtrack a bit and say that by the time it got to this point, I had accepted that we need to rely on God. And I had peace about it. Still trying to figure out like, okay, what are we going to do? But bringing those thoughts to the Lord, like, Lord, I know you've got this. So I'm not going to worry. But I have all these plans, but it's okay. And prior to today, we did find a car, and it's for free. So first of all, let's just celebrate that. Like, God is giving us a car, right? He's giving us a car that we do not have to pay for. And, my husband will obviously be using it. And so that's blessing number one. Like, we had tried everything. And I don't want to get into too much detail as to where this car came from. But even that had been an option. We had thought about that. And then I said, well, we actually hadn't thought about it. We were actually trying not to do that option. We were like, no, we are not going to go down that road because we've got this and, God has got us. And so we surrendered that. We said, no, we're not going to try that. And the Lord did it in the way that we did not want to do it, in the way that we did not expect. Actually, it's not even that we didn't want to do it. It's just that we thought that that would be us again trying to make it happen. So we were just like, we're not going to do it. And the Lord was like, yeah, I'm going to do it for you guys through this way, right? So God came through. We're getting a car for free. The word of God says, even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, the NLT version actually says, even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close behind me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. And I love that because it's like, it's dark. We cannot see where anything is coming from. We just can't see. But God is close by and we know it. We know that He's our shepherd and He's leading us, right? So the Lord had been bringing Psalm 23 to me a few times. He brought it to me a few weeks ago, just before this whole thing happened. And then again yesterday and again today. And I'm like, okay, I need to pay attention to Psalm 23. So just reading the Psalm was really ministering to me in what God was doing, that this is a dark valley, but I'm with you, you're going to be okay. And so fast forward to today, where I left off. Now we're both like, okay, I guess that $250 has to go to that bill. And there was no payment plan that could be made. This is a very important bill to pay because it affects a very huge part of our lives. We were like, okay, I guess this $249.99 is going to the bill. Because clearly that's why God gave it to us. And we were just like, we were both down about it. But at the same time, I still felt a peace because I was like, obviously, this is why God made it $250, because of this bill. It makes so much sense. And then as I was sitting here having quiet time with the Lord, it really dawned on me that $250, even though we had planned, to get groceries or whatever with it, it was a blessing. It was a blessing straight from the throne of heaven, because God provided for a need that we didn't even know existed before we knew it existed. He provided for it before it came into our knowledge that this thing had to be paid. It would have affected a part of our life that is just, it would have affected something major in our lives. And God provided for that. We could have been sitting with a $249.99 bill and not knowing how we're going to pay for it. But God brought the provision. He gave us a blessing. We initially saw it as the devil stealing from us. Yeah, we were both like, the devil's at it again. That was our conversation on the phone. Yep, the devil's at it again. He's trying to steal from us. And the Lord just opened my heart to what He actually did today. And I feel so remorseful for even thinking that it was anything less than a blessing from the throne of heaven. It really was. And I'm so grateful. Even though I don't know where the next dollar is going to come from, it doesn't matter, because look at God just providing. He's just making it happen, and He's doing it in His own way. And He's doing it while also using His rod and His staff to guide us, to show us the way, to say, hey, this is the way, rely on me, don't rely on these things. And like I said, I even have the project of getting the townhouse move in ready, and everything that I've been needing to get, I've been able to get, and I'm going to have to do the painting project with these two hands, which I'm really excited about. I've never painted a room in my life. I've never had to deal with a water damaged wall in my life, but I've educated myself and I'm going to go into it with confidence. But, that's a story for another day. The beauty of it is that what we've needed has been given to us, and whatever else is needed, being able to pay the costs is going to be provided for us. And this testimony today, as difficult as it was to share, because I do not like to get personal. I really do not like to share my personal life. But I felt convicted. I felt like the Lord really wanted me to share this. And I could feel the anxiety rising up in me. And I said, okay, that's a clear sign that I definitely need to do this. This is another thing that God is healing in me, shying away from anything uncomfortable, wanting to stay in a comfort zone, and teaching me to just go straight towards the pain, straight towards the discomfort. So right now we are learning to rely on him, and just seeing him provide before we even knew that we had a need is evidence enough that he's got us. And it's even with the move that I'm doing, he already had set it up so that the place would be available even before I knew I needed it. And he started to drop it in my spirit. And then the situation happened, and it's like, that's why he was dropping it in my spirit, right? So God is really speaking to somebody today. I'm not sharing this just to share my story. I know that somebody needs to hear this. You may be going through like a dark valley right now. But God is going to provide. Like, he wants you to rely completely on him. I want to add that it's taken me a few days to really grasp the concept of relying on God. It really has. And I believe that I will come back and share deeper revelation on it. But until I really understood it, it felt like a foreign language. It felt like God was speaking to me in a language that I've never heard before. Okay, that I don't even have a clue as to what language it would be, if I'm making sense. Him asking me to rely on him and not have a plan and not know how I'm going to get through tomorrow or the next month or whatever, felt like a completely foreign concept. I could not conceptualize it in my mind. And all my brain wanted to do was make plans. I kept thinking, okay, if we can get this and then maybe put that together and then this other thing, that's all my brain could do. And I was just like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. But I don't know what else to do. I don't know how not to do this. I don't understand what God is asking me to do. It's foreign to me. There was nothing in me that could relate or plug into it. I just kept saying, God, I don't know. All I know is to make plans. All I know is to be in control. All I know is to have it all figured out. But you're asking me not to have it figured out. It's not computing. I don't understand. And I just kept saying that to him until he helped me understand. And really the understanding came with surrender, when I realized that all I needed to do was surrender my life, surrender everything, let go of the pictures of what I want things to look like, how I want them to happen, and just say, God, your will. We throw that around so much, but we don't mean it so often. At least I thought I did, but I realize now that I just kind of wrapped it up in, I don't know what, but for the first time, I'm like, Lord, whatever your will is, like, I surrendered all. If you want me to stay in a toxic environment and that is your will, then it's good and it's perfect and it's right. I'm staying, If you want me to go, then I'll go, because that's good and right and perfect because you're saying it. If you're leading me right, or you're leading me left, or you're leading me forward, I'm going because you're leading me. You're the shepherd. It's right, it's good, and it's perfect. So why am I afraid? It just hit me that there's been so much fear in following the guidance of God, or at least relying on him. There's been so much fear because I've always made it happen for myself. Yes, he's opened doors. Yes, he's made provision. Everything that I thought I was making happen myself really was him. He was allowing me to do all that. But I believe that a lot of us are graduating to a point where it's like, okay, God has provided and he's given us he's given us provision and we've been able to make plans, but now he's saying, I'm still providing, I'm still going to provide, but you're not going to see until you need it in that moment, if that makes sense. He's taking us on a new level of reliance on him, where it becomes complete reliance, and it begins with surrender. So, I'm sure there's more I could have shared. I hope I covered everything I wanted to share in this testimony. I'd written nothing down. I just turned on the mic and started speaking. But God is speaking to somebody today about complete surrender, letting go of what you want to happen. And if this happens, then, oh my goodness, it's going to be horrible. Open yourself up to the possibility of that horrible thing happening, because if God wants that to happen, it's good, it's right, and it's perfect, and you're going to be okay, because the good shepherd is leading you. Okay, he could be leading you past the valley of the shadow of death, but he's going to be close to you, so you don't have to be afraid. His rod and his staff, they will protect and comfort you if you have to go through the dark valley. Or he could be opening up the door for you to have freedom from this thing that you don't want to happen. Okay, whatever it is, surrender and be content with what God has for you. So that's the message for today. I pray that it's blessed you if it is for you. And I really hope that the testimony ministered to somebody. And if you guys can just be praying for us, that we would believe God, that we would trust him, that we would continue to be surrendered to his will, that, he's going to make the provision as is needed. I have a lot of joy in my heart and peace and excitement for what he's doing. I haven't felt this way. Leading up to today, I have not been feeling this way. It's been anxiety and trying to push past it. And now there's just complete all-round peace, whereas before there were pockets of peace when things happened, like when the transmission blew out. It was like, okay, it's the end of the car, we're letting it go. There was peace, and then followed by a lot of anxiety, because then you realize, oh no, there's going to be no income and blah, blah, blah. But now it's just this overwhelming just joy and peace, because I'm just like, Lord, my life, I haven't done a great job being in the control seat. I think you'll do a better job. In fact, I know you'll do a better job. So do whatever you want with it. Send me wherever you want. Keep me wherever you want. Do whatever you want. And that has just brought me such relief, and it's taken so much off my shoulders. So, friends, that is the message. I'm going to end it now. I will see you all in the next video. Always remember that God is a good father. He loves you so much because you, my friends, are so deeply special to him.
Looking around, you may wonder why now. You say, Lord, would you let me drown? You know it's to you that I bow. Tears fill your eyes as you look to the skies. Your heart-wrenching cries move the heart of the King of all time. Count it all joy when you fall into various trials, for faith builds your patience if you just hold on for a while. Greater is he who is in you, for he is the truth. Your clay in his hands, and his promise will make you brand new. Looking around, don't wonder why now. God would not let you drown. Him that you bow. As tears fill your eyes, you look to the skies. Your heartstrong war cries move the heart of the King of all time. Count it all joy when you fall into various trials, for faith builds your patience if you just hold on.